They paid no attention to me, instead gathering together in the shadows, voices hushed in urgent discussion. The white-robed little ghost was the first to break the silence, speaking rapidly with a tension that made the air seem colder. "Father, Mother, are you trapped in the Fuang family graveyard on Lee Mountain?" The words tumbled out, too quick, betraying his fear. The ghost bride, draped in her tattered wedding gown, pondered for a moment before offering her own thought, voice tinged with melancholy. It might not be inside the graveyard itself, but perhaps just nearby. She spoke quietly, as if the truth of their predicament was too heavy to bear aloud. Time, it seemed, was working against us, and the bald-headed male ghost began to spin with growing agitation. He didn't lift his feet, but glided in a tight circle, an eerie spectacle that made the corners of my mouth twitch in discomfort. The timing is too coincidental. It must be that forbidden incantation that led to this. My poor wife, how did you end up in Lime Mountain? How could this happen? His voice quivered with despair. Suddenly, a vivid memory flashed before my eyes. On my way here, riding an old trans carriage toward Lime Mountain, I'd glimpsed a woman in white crouched at the side of the road. At the time, terror had pierced me. Could she have been one of their lost kin? The more I thought, the more likely it seemed. I couldn't suppress my curiosity any longer. "Your reaction to Lime Mountain is odd. Are you all afraid to approach it?" My question hung in the air, met by the silent, synchronized gaze of three ghosts. The bald ghost's eyes flickered with crimson light, while the little ghost's black eyes swirled, restless and deep. Then the ghost bride emerged from the crown of Old Tran's head, as if materializing from thin air. I hurried forward, supporting Old Tran's limp body, laying him carefully on the ground before turning back to the trio of spirits. The atmosphere had shifted. Now, a fragile peace lingered between us, as though for the first time, we'd found a common enemy. Negotiations seemed possible. The ghosts watched me, but made no move to strike. I realized they were testing me just as I was probing them, and that realization steadied my nerves. The ghost bride spoke, her words solemn. "You're right, Lime Mountain is forbidden ground. To be precise, only native spirits and monsters are permitted. Outsiders who trespass are doomed to be scattered, body and soul." Her white, pupilless eyes flicked instinctively toward Lime Mountain, a visible line she dared not cross. "What do you mean, permitted? Who gives that permission?" I pressed, unsettled by the revelation. "We don't really know who permits it," sighed the bald ghost. "But if you drift here, as we have, and approach Lime Mountain, you'll be warned. There's a force, an aura that repels us." His voice was heavy with resignation. I looked toward the mountain. Even through the thick night fog, its looming ridges felt oppressive, as if the very earth shuddered at its presence. Why was Lime Mountain a forbidden zone for spirits? No one could answer me. The ghost bride turned to me with an imploring gaze. "You are not an outsider, but a villager. You can come and go from Lee Mountain freely. My mother was likely drawn inside by the power of that incantation. It wasn't her choice, but she crossed a boundary. Now I'm terrified. She may..." Her words dissolved into sobs, but no tears fell, only a chilling wail that seemed to strip the warmth from my bones. "Enough!" I shouted, the sound of her crying threatening to tear my soul from my body. She fell quiet, covering her mouth with a pale hand, her empty eyes fixed on me, pleading without words. "Brother Fong, it seems we must beg for your help," said the bald ghost, urgency in his voice. "If we delay, my wife's soul may be destroyed. The three of us can't enter Lee Mountain, but you can. Help us bring her back safely, and we'll help you break the graveyard curse. As for my father's matter, let's put it aside." He'd realized that any further delay meant losing his wife forever, and so he'd taken a step back, offering this bargain. I didn't answer immediately, meeting their eyes with grave seriousness. "You say you're just passing through to Hangthan village, but where are you really from?" I asked, wanting to know more before agreeing. The little ghost raised his hand. "Big brother, we came from New City." "New City? So your enemies are there? And they're so powerful you need my special abilities to stand a chance?" I was stunned. The ghost bride didn't hide it any longer. "You're clever, Brother Fong. Our enemies are important people in New City." A cold chill ran down my spine. Was I really about to get involved in a feud with such powerful figures? These 3 ghosts were formidable enough. Fortunately, the curse in the graveyard hadn't harmed them, or negotiating would have been impossible. There was another reason for their change in attitude. I'd learned enough sorcery that they now saw me as an equal, not someone to be trifled with. Among the living and the dead, strength commands respect. I didn't want to ask more about their vendetta. It was enough trouble already. I was no master exorcist, just a novice, burdened with debt and shadowed by a curse as sharp and unpredictable as a blade. With my own life hanging by a thread, how could I spare a thought for others? There's a saying among exorcists, to help others is to truly become a professional. But what about helping ghosts? Taken literally, helping the living is one thing. Helping ghosts find their kin shouldn't count as the same, and shouldn't violate any taboos. Still, after thinking it over, I decided to take the risk and reunite this family. The reason was simple. The curse in the graveyard was deadly, and I was barely a novice. If I had these ghosts as allies, my chances would improve. The clan chief said he was fetching a great master for help, but who knew when or if that would happen? I had no time to wait. To survive, I had to rely on myself, even if it meant cooperating with ghosts. Without further hesitation, I looked up and spoke with resolve. I'll accept your request. I'll go into Lie Mountain and search for your kin. In return, you'll help me survive the curse. But I want assurances. What if you just disappear once I've found her? Mashate. Brother Fong, you're quite suspicious. But have you ever heard of a ghost breaking a promise? Scoffed the ghost bride. There's a saying, ghosts will lie. Haven't you? I retorted, unmoved. She bristled. Nonsense. Women never listen to reason, I muttered under my breath. Enough! We need to find Mother quickly. If she's trapped in Lie Mountain, we must hurry before she's lost forever. Cried the little ghost, clutching his ears. Write a vow, all of you, I insisted. I'll burn it as an offering to the underworld, so it can't be broken. At my words, all 3 ghosts shuddered, their bodies trembling at the thought. The pact was clear. To brave the forbidden mountain, face whatever dangers awaited, and trust that our desperate bargain would hold. In the uncertain darkness, we were bound together, living and dead, by hope, fear, and the fragile promise of survival.